I read a book a long time ago called "Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It" or something like that. It was really it
Oh,
was a really
okay.
short book. It was super interesting. But
Yeah.
one idea that I took away from that book, what he said, because this guy was just lived a life of depression and like I
Okay.
think was it Naval Ravikant or something like that. And
Oh, okay.
he said he just said, I love myself" in his head
Hmm.
for weeks and weeks until he kind of like threw a stick in the spoke of how his mind was going like that. And
Yeah.
so I was doing that for trying to get sleep at that time. It was a specific
Okay.
anxious part of my life. And so now, even now, where things are pretty chill, if I wake up and I just can't get to sleep, I'm thinking about something, I will do that. I will just say like I love myself, and I'll just think of it, and within 5 minutes I'm back to sleep.
There you
And it
go.
and it continues to work. It's a bit of like a short circuit because you realize in the middle of the night your brain wants to think about all sorts of crazy shit that doesn't really even matter. And so if I can
Yes.
just quiet that part quickly, I'm right back to sleep. And so there's
And
so many things that in the middle of the night, I'm sure there's so many different hacks or best practices people can use to make sure they don't hijack their whole night because of one bad dream or something.
yeah, and I think that you make a great point of this was something that was going on for you for a very long time, and that it took you quite a while to be saying this statement over and over again for it to finally like take at one point. And I think that it's so important that we talk about that, and that like I mentioned this earlier and I'll say it again, is good sleep doesn't necessarily happen overnight. Like it will take time, especially if you're someone who's, again, having been nightmares every single night, or if you're someone who's had insomnia for the past decade. You can sit down and read my book in one setting. It doesn't mean that your sleep is going to get completely fixed overnight. It
Right.
can get better, and it's small baby steps. And so again, like the brain is so beautiful and incredible, and it's very plastic, which means that we can make changes. But also too, I have to keep my clients and my service members and my agents and everybody realistic, in that if you've been struggling, or if you've been saying this thing to yourself, or you've been in the middle of the night and you've been awake and you've been laying in bed and tossing and turning for the past 5 years, your brain has learned how to do that. And your
Right.
brain thinks, oh, well, this is just what it is that we do. So it takes rewiring, and we can rewire, but it will take work. Like we talked about, like the imagery rehearsal therapy, like that, you have to put in the work. Or like you giving the example of this new statement that you keep just telling yourself and telling yourself. It does take work. Anything is going to take work if we want to make change. And so I think that it's important that we talk about that. Is just, there's so many things that we can do, but we have to be realistic, and we have to remember good sleep will not necessarily happen overnight. It's a series of little teeny tiny building blocks that build to an amazing night's sleep.